In this lesson, we'll begin to create some of the pieces of the engine. So the pieces that we're going to start with is this cover basically that goes across these cylinders, and it kind of makes that V pattern. If we take a look at one of the images we have of this type of an engine, this is the engine that we're looking at, and this is kind of a V-twin. They call it an L-twin because it's turned on its side. So this, you can see this cylinder is kind of longitudinal, or it's kind of a long parallel with the road, and then the V comes out in this way. So a lot of times you'll see this kind of configuration rotated, but in this case this is what we're working with. So we'll try to pick out some of the main features of this visually and build those in. So the first thing that we're going to build are these covers right in here. Okay, so we'll go ahead and try to build that out. We can see part of it in this view right here. It's hard to see the other part, but it's going to extend up kind of into this little cavity in here. So let's start by bringing in a cylinder. So we'll go ahead and just draw out a cylinder, pretty much where the base of this cover is going to be. Give it a little bit of thickness there, pull it out. Going to be kind of right behind the exhaust, kind of right in here. And let me go back to my left. Okay, and we'll go ahead and just move it into position here. And I've got 12 sides on that. I think that should be probably pretty good. I want to go ahead and add a couple of cap segments to that. Okay, so we end up with just a cylinder right here. So the next thing that we're going to do is go ahead and create these cylinders on the ends of this. So I'm going to go ahead and hold down Shift and just pull this straight out. Okay, make a copy of that. I'm going to go ahead and just scale it down a little bit. Okay, and I'm actually, instead of scaling, I'm going to go ahead and work the radius so that I don't mess with the height at all. And then this one, we'll go ahead and do the same thing. And this one, I'll kind of pull it up and over. It's kind of in that position. And then this one, I dialed the radius down to 1.47. So I'll go ahead and do the same thing here. Make it the same size there. Alright, so now we have these three pieces, and we can go ahead and isolate those in our perspective view. Okay, just Alt-Q. Okay, this one we can maybe move up just a little bit. Get them about the same. Alright. And now we can go ahead and attach all of these. So with this cylinder selected, I'll go ahead and convert this to an editable poly. And then under Edit Geometry, go ahead and attach here and here. Alright. And so now what we can do is start to bridge some of these pieces together. So let's go ahead and take these 4 polygons and these 4 polygons, and we'll go ahead and bridge those. Let's go ahead and give a few segments here, maybe 6 segments or so. Okay, you could even bridge one more. Take a look at this, and we'll look at our image. You might even bridge one more in there, but I think that should be okay. Okay, and then we'll do the same thing here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab 1, 2, and 3, 4. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and grab 1, 2, 3, 4. See what that looks like. Looks pretty good. And we've got the same number of segments there as well, so we'll go ahead and say OK to that. So that'll give us our main shape. Okay, we need to create this interior shape here. So we could come in and grab some of these vertices and start to kind of shape those. Okay, so maybe move this over a bit. Okay, move this down. All right. and then take this and maybe scale those down a bit into the right shape. So just create this sort of a shape right in here. Okay, and then we can come in and grab our polygons that make up that shape. Something like that. Go ahead and inset those slightly. Very small amounts. Okay, and then go ahead and bevel those in by local normal. Take the height down and take that outline amount down. So you get something like that. Go ahead and take that depth down a little bit. Okay, so you end up with something like that. And then you could do the same thing over here on this guy. Okay, we also probably want to pull out some of the lines or some of the places for the bolts kind of coming from out here. So we could do that just by extruding out one of these guys here. And it's not going to match up exactly, but that's okay. Say okay to that. Just kind of pull that down a little bit. All right. And then for the ends, you see how there's this sort of a detail here. Well, we can use these faces right here to create that. Okay, the reason I put the cap division in there so that when I modify this shape, you see it changes that shape of that circle, but at least we have this circle inside here that is still a circle that we can use. Okay, so now we need to create that little bit of a shape there. So we'll go ahead and do an inset, just something like that. Okay, yeah, just something that's probably good right there. Inset that, and then we can take this edge, okay, select that loop, chamfer this, add a couple of segments, take that value down. Okay, so there's lots of different ways of getting this type of detail in here. Hopefully you're seeing a few of them: extruding, beveling, insetting, chamfering, the edges. Lots of different ways to get stuff, different things done here. Okay, we'll say okay to that. And then we can go in and extrude some of this out, bevel out, whatever we want to do. Take this and just do a bevel. Add the height to that. Just a little bit of height, a little bit of outline. Okay to that. And then inset it a little bit and pull it out. It gives the same effect as beveling. Okay, so a lot of different ways that you can work with this. Okay, if we go ahead and select this loop and this loop, and then shift select the polygons, we'll get that sort of a selection, and then we can just extrude that in if we want to do that. Okay, and then you get something like that. So that when you now smooth this, you start to get this detail up here. Now we definitely want to come in and add some hardness on these edges, so we'll select that entire ring and go ahead and just have a couple of segments and just drag those out. Okay. And then if we just concentrate on this side, this is what we kind of get. Okay, so we want to do the same thing in the center. Okay, and also on this end as well. Okay, so the same kind of thing we did here with this circle, we could do here and here. So if you really wanted to, you could just do that on this one before you copy it, but you will have to go ahead and bridge before you add this detail to both of these. Okay, so you go ahead and shape that. Same kind of thing, just repeated. Exact same procedure. Okay, and that'll give us our beginning parts of our engine here. Okay, so go ahead and finish that up just by adding this exact detail to this side, and then this detail to the center of these. All right. So then, following this lesson, we're going to go ahead now and start to build some of these other pieces over here on this side of the engine, some of the bigger pieces that we can see basically. So we'll go ahead and do that next.